Here's a new numbers question. It goes, I'm thinking of a sequence of numbers. I have a rule which I use to make each term of the sequence. The first term of the sequence is 0. And here's something new. A little question, what do you want to do next? I'm going to ask for another term. This question is a choose your own adventure. After each part you get a choice about what part to go on to next. So here I'm going to keep asking for terms of this sequence until I can make a guess about what it is. So here I've got 3 terms. It looks fairly linear. I've got an option to plot those terms here, and I've got a plot of the terms I've seen so far. I reckon I can guess the next term now. I think the next term will be 9, and I'm right, so I think I can give a formula for this. And the nth term, so that 0 is the first term, so I reckon it's 3n minus 3, and that's correct. So this is a new mode for numbers questions. I can navigate all the way back here. The idea is you have a list of part definitions. Normally in numbers, every part defined would be generated and shown all at once in order. The idea here is to give the students some options about what they do and the order in which they do things, and then also something to do with state, like here I was changing the number of terms that you've told about. The idea is, if I switch over to the editor, here's my beginning part. It's an information only part, and here's my prompt. So the first term of the sequence is blah blah blah, and then I'm listing the terms. I have this new option, next parts, where I define which parts you can go on to from there. So the 2 options are ask for another term and guess the next term. Here is the name of the part as defined in the editor. That wasn't shown in the question display. It could be, I suppose. I can give a custom label if what I want to show the student doesn't exactly match up with the name that I've given in the editor. Anyway, the point is, for each of these parts I can make it available conditional on something to do with the way the part was marked. Actually that option shouldn't be there for this one because it's not marked. But I can also replace some variables, some question variables. This works the same way as in adaptive marking. So you define a few variable placements, those new values are put in, and then anything else that depends on those is re-evaluated as well. So here I'm replacing the value of num known, which is the number of terms the student knows. I'm replacing that with the value +1, so they know 1 more. If I go over to the variables tab, that looks horrendous. So I can see that known values slices the list of all the values in the sequence up until the number known. So that will be re-evaluated, and that list will grow as you add a term. And everything else will be re-evaluated as well. I've got something that's there's that plot and a table showing the values. Those will all be re-evaluated. Back over to the parts. But this only happens for this choice of part. So if you choose to guess the next term, then you're not told about any more new terms. You're just taken to this number entry part where the value is, the value wanted is next value. That was a variable somewhere over there. Next value will be something like values, yeah. So it's the one after the ones we know about. So again, that gets re-evaluated each time you change the value of num known. So yeah, each of these parts has a list of options. When a part is generated, it has a variable scope, a set of values of all the variables, which is carried over to the next part that the student goes to. So I wasn't having to, where were we? the next parts bit from here. Num known plus 1. When I go on to guess the next term, it keeps whatever the changed value of num known is. Yeah, so where did we go here? Here I've got, after you guess the term, when you submit the part, the list of available parts will be recalculated because these conditions might change. Here I've got, you can always ask for another term, but if you got the next term in the sequence right, you can choose to guess another term. So go back to this part again, but with num known added one on, or you can choose to write the formula. You can only get to the write the formula part if you've guessed the next term correctly. So write the formula, that is a mathematical expression part. I've got a variable which is an expression data type, and that again, if you get that wrong, you're not finished, so you might want to, if you got the formula wrong, ask for another term or guess the next term. Those are both ways of checking checking why you got that formula wrong. If the next term doesn't match the formula you got, then you can probably spot where you went wrong, and if it does, then you might need to keep getting more and more terms, because while the formula you gave matches the ones so far, it doesn't match all of the ones, it doesn't match all of the values in the sequence that could be given. And then this plot, I'm using the Euclides extension to show this plot thing. I won't go into that because that is very complicated. So I've got another example for this. Work out the equation of a line. Yeah, here we go. So here, I haven't even written a statement for this question. This was the first one I wrote, just to make sure the system works. So here I've got to work out the equation of a line, and what I can do is ask the computer for y values when I give it x values. So if I say x is 1, show the value of y. Okay. Try another value of x. I'll try 0. Show the value of y, and it's showing me all of the values that I have got so far. I think I can probably write this down now, but I'll try another one just to double check. Yeah. So I can go and write the equation of the line now. I think it's 2x minus 1. Ooh, let's go back. Minus 3. Nope. Oh, it's, am I saying 2n? No. Ah, right. Y equals. That's what I have to write. Didn't set this up properly. So the point of this is, and that shouldn't be there, I'm replacing values in the question variables with what the student wrote. If I go back here, I'll say my first part was a number entry. Next parts, this variable x is replaced with the value of the interpreted answer, which is a note that comes out of the marking algorithm. So here I've got a big long marking algorithm. Every part provides this interpreted answer value. I'll work on improving the interface to make that more obvious what that's doing. And this points variable is a list of all the points that the student has asked about, so we can show that list. So this is a very different way of presenting numbers questions. It allows some more exploration of things. I think a way of guiding a problem-solving method, and giving students the option to sort of check with a computer while they do some thinking about a topic. One thing I'm not sure about at the moment is how the score should work for a question, because you might go back and forth through a lot of parts, and should the total available score be the sum of all of those, or should it just be the score you get on the last part? What I've got at the moment is, if you think about, where was I? Yeah, here we go. Show the value of y. Right, the equation of the line. So I had this final part. I've got a line from there back up to the very first part we saw. If I just add up all the available marks and the marks you got from that, then that gives an amount of credit. I think maybe it should be an option. Maybe there should be a fixed maximum mark available, and however you get that through the tree, it should get it. I'm not sure what to do about it. Anyway, this is what I'm working on at the moment. I'm sure there'll be tons of uses for it.